Hey, what's up? The patch itself is mostly a focused, polished pass on audio and a tiny but important network edge case. So if you've been feeling like the game can be a bit noisy or inconsistent in how stuff reads to your ears, this one is aimed right at that. The developers fixed an issue where pinging a vehicle supply crate didn't trigger the correct supply voiceover line, which is the kind of small UX oddity that breaks immersion and can actually cause micro-confusion in heated moments when you expect an audio cue and don't get it. They also addressed audio stuttering that could happen when vehicles were sabotaged using the repair tool, so that explosion and feedback loop should feel smoother now rather than dropping or glitching mid-combat. On top of that, there's a broader set of improvements aimed at making movement and environmental sounds more readable. Enemy ziplines and parachutes, along with friendly blowtorches, should cut through the cacophony more reliably when multiple sounds are playing. And the team refined sound source positioning to improve audio obstruction for vehicles, weapons, and soldier footsteps. That means the game is trying harder to place noises where you expect them in the world, which helps when you're trying to locate an enemy by sound. There's also a push to make distant enemy footsteps clearer by aligning layered audio content better, and to improve panning for very close non-player footsteps, so small details at short ranges don't feel like they're coming from the wrong direction. Finally, the patch improves the reliability of several sound effects under heavy load, things like defibrillators, blowtorches, ziplines, and parachutes, so when the action ramps up and the audio system is taxed, those important cues are less likely to drop out. Outside of audio, there's a network fix specifically called out for Xbox Series consoles. Rare cases where the game could become unresponsive after reconnecting network cables during gameplay or while accepting invitations have been addressed. It's one of those platform-specific edge cases that most players never hit, but for the handful who did run into it, it was a game-breaking experience, literally freezing or hanging your client. So patching that makes matchmaking and invites more reliable for those setups. Mentioning that lets viewers know the developers are still chasing down the weird platform quirks and not just sweeping audio problems under the rug. What this all adds up to is a clearer, more dependable audio landscape and slightly better platform stability. And that's important because Battlefield, more than a lot of shooters, depends on positional awareness and environmental cues. If footsteps, parachutes, and vehicle noises are placed more accurately in the sound field and are less likely to stutter or vanish during heavy fights, that changes how rounds play out. You're less likely to be surprised by things you should have heard coming, and more likely to make decisions based on consistent sensory feedback. For streamers and content creators, this matters too, because the viewer experience improves when audio cues match what's happening on screen instead of feeling asynchronous or jittery. If you want to give viewers a feel for the technical side without getting too dry, explain that the work here isn't flashy new features. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes engineering that prevents tiny bugs from compounding into huge frustrations. We've seen this pattern from the studio for the last several updates where they keep shipping these targeted fixes and balance tweaks to patch holes in the experience. It's a sign they're iterating post-launch and prioritizing things that affect playability and readability. That context helps folks appreciate why a small patch number can still be meaningful. When you script this for your video, keep the tone like you're explaining what players will hear and feel. Call out the supply crate, voiceover fix so players know pinging should now have the cue they expect. Describe the repair tool sabotage stutter fix so vehicle combat sounds less janky. And talk through the layered audio and obstruction improvements so people understand why footsteps and distant movement will be easier to parse. Mention the Xbox network fix as a platform note for Xbox players who may have experienced freezes while reconnecting hardware or handling invites. Keep the examples grounded. Say something like, that parachute sweep you could barely hear before should be more distinct now. Or you shouldn't lose the sound of a defib or blowtorch when a firefight erupts nearby. Because concrete images resonate more than abstract talk about sound systems. You can also weave in a brief line about how these fixes affect decision-making in matches. Better sound fidelity and positioning equals fewer blind peaks and smarter rotations. And the Xbox fix means fewer interrupted matches for players dealing with unstable cable reconnections or invite handling. Those are practical hooks that help viewers translate patch notes into in-game behavior changes. Try to avoid reading the notes like a list. Instead, narrate how the fixes will play out during a typical round, so viewers can picture themselves benefiting from the improvements. That approach keeps the delivery natural and helps retain attention without resorting to gimmicks or promises of more content than the patch actually delivers. Alright, that's the meat of the update. Focused, practical fixes that aim to make the battlefield feel more coherent and less glitchy. If you want the exact wording to read verbatim, take the core lines from the official patch details about supply crate, voice lines, repair tool audio stutter, the audibility and obstruction improvements, distant footstep clarity, panning tweaks, the reliability fixes for high audio load effects, and the Xbox network reconnection edge case. Those are the precise things the studio listed, and they're the bite-sized facts your viewers will want to hear.